Hey, Gatelynomics fans! You know, I'm still working on a tagline for this channel. So, here's the deal. I think of things to put up here every day, but I just don't get around to it. So, the plan is, today I'm just going to make a bunch of videos. I'll post them. Hopefully that'll keep you tided over and interested for the week. And I do plan on doing more as time goes on. So today we're going to talk about business. That's the first thing. And we're going to talk about social security. So this is a business plan video, and this is something that I'm actually thinking that I'm going to do. The prototype is Happy Sunflower Toilet Cleaning Service. Now, I thought of making it Happy Sunflower Cleaning, right? But I wonder if that's a thing already. I think I looked it up. I found something like sunflower cleaning. And then, as a sunflower is obviously a great symbol. Around here, there's lots of sunflowers in the summer. They're actually, apparently, they're just weeds. So, so I wrote up some notes. And so here's how it works. Well, first off, the title is kind of a gimmick itself. That it's so long that it's almost humorous. It's almost memorable. And I thought of a tagline. The tagline is "Feel like a king on your throne." So here's how it works. You grab your cleaning stuff and you start a route. So that's kind of the basic business plan. You try and condense it as much as possible. Ideally, you get 20 or 30 houses on a route. Excuse me, I have a little bit of an allergy thing going on, a little sinus infection. Don't like that at all. So, so I figure, so here's how it works. You have to have a uniform. So yellow obviously is a big one, maybe like yellow overalls or something like that. And clean cut, so definitely a dress code there. And so you start your route. You have a badge on that says toilets clean $5, right? So you go in and clean, I'm assuming at least 2 toilets per house, maybe even 3 or 4, $5 each. That actually, the math actually doesn't work out on that. So let's assume that given wasted time, it takes about 20 minutes per 2 toilets. So basically, for example, let's say you had a street here and a street here, and then up at the top you had a cross street, you know, like that, right? And so your route goes something like this. You go down this side, so as not to waste any time. Go down here, go down this side, then you double back, and you go down the other side, the other side, the other side, and you create routes kind of in this U shape for maximum, like not home, next house, not home, next house. And you try and get, so the idea is once you get the route established, now people know you, you automate it. So for example, through Facebook or maybe even email listing, you just say, hey, tomorrow we'll be in your neighborhood doing the toilets. This is our time that we'll be there. Because if you do a route, if it's 30 houses that actually let you in, so you got to remember there's 2 versions of this. There's a version where you establish the route, and that is a different matter than actually having the route. So once a route is like ingrained and people are expecting you, it's kind of a thing, then it's not so difficult. So meaning this is what the end result is. You have a very high density there. So 30 houses, you average say $10 per house. Actually, that's not right. It's going to be more like $15 per house. So that equals $450 a day. But to do 30 houses at 20 minutes each, that is a 10-hour workday. Oh wow! So this actually does not work because of the sustainability thing. Because you have to consider you're going to need insurance, you're going to need dispatch, There's going to be errors, there's going to be emergencies, there's going to be delays, there's going to be training. And so it just, right now I'm just looking at this going, how is this possibly tenable? Aha, I will explain it to you. So, oh, and you're in pairs too. So 20 minutes per thing. But see, this number, any of these numbers could be wrong. If it's 20 minutes per house, on average, because you got to include like travel time and people aren't home and all that thing, then this could be wrong. It could actually maybe only take 10 minutes to go in, clean 2 people, clean both toilets, say thank you, get paid, and then move on to the next house. So there's that. And we're not even to the real value of this company yet, which I will get to momentarily. So, but my point is, let's say it was just you and another person. Let's say you're unemployed and you've got let's say you have a work age child that can go with you. Well, now you're both contributing to the household. So $450 a day if you managed it. Right? A 10-hour day. That's hard. Seriously cleaning toilets for 10 hours a day. But you got to pick the right neighborhood too. So if you're in upscale neighborhoods, that's pretty good. You got to mind your local laws. A lot of times they're like city ordinances against door-to-door. But most places allow it. And if you're known, if you're doing it in your own neighborhood, people are very kind to, it's like, and that could be part of your 10-second spiel too. Hey, I live in the neighborhood, I've lost my job, and I'm here to clean your toilets and make myself a useful member of society. But $450 a day times, let's do 20 working days. So yeah, let's say you only want to work you want to take 10 days a month off. So this is actually a low estimate. That, by the way, is $9,000 a month. Yeah, if you really busted it, you could make doctor money doing this, especially once your roots are established. Because what will happen is, and all this is like formulaic. It's part of a man like this. This is notes, but you'd make a manual, Happy Flower toilet cleaning service manual. That would so you'd go out. You'd have say stage 1 is hard ground. It's like a Tyranid invasion. So stage 1 is hard ground. That's like you're going in, nobody knows you, you might pick up maybe 10 houses. So you make the route twice this size just to have the 20 or 30 houses, right? And then stage 2, you go in, you do the route, but you try and pick up some additional houses. Maybe they weren't home the first time, that whole thing. And then you get on to stage 3 and 4 to where it's like high density. Then what you do is in your weekly planning meetings, you sit down, and that could be your family too. It could be your wife, a kid or 2. Seriously? All right, so yeah, your planning meetings could be your family. So you're talking survival here. That's what I'm trying to get to. This is only an example. There's lots of different things that you could do that would kind of follow this same general idea. Maybe not even door to door, but make your own job. Because you gotta kind of connect the dots. Like instead of like I need to find a job so they'll give me money, no, I need to find some way to get the money. Or how can I directly get the things that I need? Like in a post-apocalyptic scenario, you might actually do this same thing, but be paid in canned food, or barterable goods, cigarettes, chocolate, batteries, whatever it is. So don't just sit on your hands and be like, hello, I need a job, please give me some money. No, go forth and conquer. So there's that. What's the next thing? So let's say you were like pretty. It was pretty hard Scrabble. So let's say it was only 10 houses times you manage 15 per house. Oh, by the way, you're thinking, well, wait a minute. That's like assuming every house has 3 toilets. Okay, well, 1. You could go to places where that is the average number of toilets per house, or that gets into the next thing, which is the true value of doing this. It's not about cleaning toilets. It's about on the customer's end, it's about what kind of feeling are you going to give them. Have you ever like looked at your toilet and been like revolted, like it has like scum on it, or it's like, oh, I just don't even want to touch, it's just so bad. And it's like no one in the house wants to do it, and if someone knocked your doors, you just be like, oh yeah, here's $5. Oh, that's totally worth it. So there's that. So you're giving a feeling to sit down on a clean toilet. Ba-boom. That, yeah, you're going ba-boom. It's, what a great, and that's what you're really selling, is you're selling a feeling of contentment during really what is quite an intimate moment of that person's life. So now what you do is every time you clean the toilet, you leave a little card, like a business card side thing, but it has two sides, and you fold it like this. And it looks like a wedding invitation. So this might be your equipment investment that you need, like special scissors, you need some neat kind of, what's that called, scrapbooking type paper, and you make like a little piece of art. And that takes a lot of effort, maybe as much effort as actually cleaning the toilet in terms of time. But that's part of what you're selling, is you're selling a feeling. And you leave that on the toilet. And at the bottom it says, visit happysunflowertoiletcleaningservice.com to see our line of coffee table books. Or you add a service. You leave like a little menu, like you know, restaurant soft opening menus where they just kind of have the slip of paper, you know. But again, that's like, it looks good, it's got a hole punched in it, has a little bow on it, and it gives a menu of other things you do. Well, we'll clean the tub. Now you're condensing your routes. Like when you finish the route, you're doing more things. So, that's where this average can go up. That was my point. Was that you'd have the ultra clean, $10 to do the toilet, and that could be a loss leader too. The first time you visit, you do the ultra clean for $5, and then you know on the menu it just says regular clean $5, ultra clean. And hope you enjoy your free upgraded ultra clean on your toilet. And that could be like you take the screws out and you de-rust them, or maybe the ultra clean is you do the toilet from the top to the very bottom, whereas a regular clean is just you just do the bowl and the seat, you know, maybe the handle, like that. Again, this, because I know people like, really, cleaning toilets? Well, first off, if you're starving and you are the breadwinner of a household, you do whatever it takes. You just get it done. Just get the money and make those ends, and you can hold your head high that you're doing something of use to the community and you're providing for yourself and your own. So, but this can be applied to other things. All right. So, so then, like one service I thought of would be, hey, this month we're doing whole house towel replacements. Isn't that a thing? Isn't that filling a need? Because I look at in my house, my towels are all mismatched. Some of them are old and frayed. We have some towels that are kind of gross, that are like utility towels, like we clean the floor with them and stuff, but those end up mixed in with the regular, you know, towels. So what you do is you say, all right, for X amount of money, and oh, by the way, people will pay for niceties like this, especially in nicer neighborhoods. And you say, and by now you've established a rapport. You've established, I am not above doing the absolute, or what's considered the absolute lowest task in human society, which is cleaning the latrines. I mean, that's like untouchables work. So, I'm not saying I believe in the caste system. I just saw that on the movie Gandhi, when I saw it, that the untouchables in the caste system in India would have to like dig the latrines or whatever it is. So, but I mean, that really is, you know, kind of the grossest work that there is. Well, maybe not the grossest, but you get the idea. So one thing, you try and compact your routes. Advertising. So here's what you do for advertising. My ideas are word of mouth. That's going to be a big one. That'll help you condense your routes. Yellow pages. So if you're going to get this started, you go to the yellow pages. You just all you do is you just get start small, pay cash, don't get into debt. Referral cards. So that's on the back of the toilet. You leave your card, and then you leave a few pass-along things. And then the menu on the back of the toilet. Client verifies work online, or maybe there's a slip, they just have a card. You say, can you just sign this that everything looks good and to your satisfaction? People love that. Oh, that's professional. And after a while, they'll probably trust you. They'll just be, you'll be on your way out. Whoever's still at home will be washing the dishes, and you'll be like, okay, we're done. If you could just sign off on our work. Oh, okay, you guys always do a good job so here. Central office. So if you're growing this into like 50 employees, like you had so many routes, this could divide like bacteria. But then you're getting into different trouble, which is how are you going to hire good people to do this relatively mundane task? Well, you would find good people to do this mundane task, and you'd be careful in your hiring practices, and you might also pay more. If a job pays $3,000 a month, you have your standards high and you have good feedback from clients. It's online. You call at random, make sure everybody's doing good. And if they don't do good, they have to move out the door. And you just get quality employees. That's part of the free market. Money would be a problem here, because if you have roots and people know it, that could be a danger. That you got to watch out for is that, if the local ruffians know that your guys are carrying 200 cash, that could be a problem, and you're going to have some losses from that possibly. You'll have a written manual that will tell you how to conduct a visit. And like A, B, C, D, this is what happens when you're in someone's house. And you might even have like training runs, like a more experienced person goes out. And remember, you're providing an experience. You go in, and it's not like, yeah, we're here to clean the toilets. No, you're like, da-da, you're cheerful, everyone's clean cut, they have on bright yellow overalls. Oh, and the bikes. The bikes! Yes! So you get these old-timey bikes that have the big wheels in the back, so it's like a trike, and the basket full of cleaning supplies. So just the bikes showing up is like an experience. That becomes like what's that called? I'm going to say a gimmick. It becomes like a trademark. That's it. It's like, oh, and then on the front it has like the big happy sunflower logo, and you're going out. And you might think, well, God, you can only do this during summer. No. You establish your roots during winter. Because you're pathetic. Because if you go out and you're door to door and it's snowing, oh, wow, that is a fantastic way to get in the door and, and get that kind of relationship of trust going. All right, now for bicycles, you could have a van for it if your routes were bigger. I recommend that you have walking routes. You do need you have consumable expenses, cleaning liquid, uniforms, gloves. So you got like equipment. What if there was some kind of machine that cleaned toilets, Plumbing. I don't know if you need a plumber's license to like fix a toilet. Like what you might do is you might leave a card. So you'd have like a menu of cards that you could leave depending on the situation. You might have a specialty card where it said, we noticed that your stopper was worn out. We can replace your stopper for however much it is. So that's an upsell. And you could, up to and including, once you get these routes established, you could be upselling to even major items like coffee tables. You could really get in there. And that is the true value of this business, is the list. The relationship of trust. Yeah, that's it, that you're in. And in fact, I bet if you were a head of a household and you just did this just because you're a man and you're making the rent, that it wouldn't be long till you would run into somebody who owned a business who would go, you know what, this guy's amazing. He is out there, he's not above anything, he's ready, this is work ethic. And he'd be like, I want you working for my company. And that's when you pass it off to, whoever, or maybe just even into the route altogether. So that's the way this could go. This could be an empire, or it could just be something to kind of tide you over, and you could do it. So let's talk about what I call professional setup. With any business, you're going to have to go make some visits. And here they are. All right. So anyway, by the way, with that $9,000 a month, that would be 2 people working 10 hours a day probably. Only 20 days a month though. And what's the other thing? Oh, how many? You would need 20 routes. Or how often do they need the toilets cleaned? If it's every week, you could get by with, how many would that be? 5 routes. Just a Monday route, Tuesday route, Thursday, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Okay, let's talk about professional setup. So here's the places you gotta go and how much it costs to get, you know, that initial consultation. You have to see a CPA. Okay, certified public accountant. So that's an accountant. Okay, there's 2 types of taxes that you're going to do when you run your business. You're going to have federal taxes and you're going to have state taxes. You also will have to get a business license. That is the city. And they may have ordinances involved with going door to door or whatever it is that you're doing, a home business. Some cities are really rough about it, and some cities are, you know, really like they hardly even care. They might not even have any ordinances. Okay, so CPA, the cost for the CPA for the initial visit is 0, and this is the most important thing. This is the person who's going to keep you out of trouble on your taxes. Don't be afraid. At least find out what it is, find out how it works, and then the fear goes away. And then the payment starts. A second thing is you're going to have to go see an insurance guy. So, for example, State Farm. And the consultation for that, $0. And they assess your liability, and you really can't lose. A lawyer. Most lawyers, the initial visit is $0. Okay, but let me give you some expenses here for like a small business. Your CPA is probably just going to charge you per year to file your taxes, and that could be between like $50 and $200. For a mid-sized company, it gets up to be like $500 to do your corporate taxes. Plus, by the way, they want you to do all the footwork. They want you to pre-digest everything. That's happens every year. My wife spends 40 to 80 hours, like doing everything, categorizing the checkbook, making sure everything's in order, and then she gives finished numbers to the accountant, who goes bup, 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 and he just punches them into this program that he's bought. I anticipate it probably takes him maybe an hour to do it, tops, and I pay $500 to do that. And that's the problem that I have with the tax system, is that didn't do anybody any good. Even the accountant, his whole life has been misdirected into a useless area that's not directly benefiting anybody. It's just water leaking out of the pipes. Let's move on. Lawyers typically, if it's a subsequent visit, they will charge you. The cheaper ones are like $250 per hour. $500 per hour is like a lot. I remember paying as little as $50 back in the 90s. So it depends on what it is. Right now, quite frankly, I would go online and just research things. What I found is most of the time, all these professions, they just do some kind of behind-the-scenes voodoo and then charge you a lot for it. Now, that's not always true. Some lawyers are really good. They really put in the hours, and they save you a lot of money because you don't make any major missteps. But boy, be careful, because for all you know, and we've had this happen, we've had lawyers charge us thousands, and then come to find out later it was just a generic document. They just filled in the blanks on a generic document. They probably didn't even do it. So, other advice about lawyers is never pay lawyers to do research. And I've had this happen a couple of times where I'd say, you know, I have this question about whatever topic it is, and they say, well, we'll need to research, it'll take X hours of research. And I go, okay, stop. Which is it? Am I paying you for expertise that you already have, or am I paying you to acquire the expertise? Because the higher rate that you pay is for somebody who already has the expertise, who can just tell you
what it is, or maybe with a minimal amount of. But if you have to pay them to research it from scratch, I can do that, and I charge a whole lot less. So, just be careful. Be careful with that. All right, the next one is insurance, lawyers. Liability is a big one, and insurance. Typically, insurance really isn't that bad. I think insurance is very valuable. You're probably end up paying like $20 to $50 per month. That can go. I'm just talking about startups. You know, you and maybe one or two other people. A CPA, again, this is annual. I've had CPAs that charge by the hour $75 an hour, and they, yeah. So I called to ask a question, just a quick thing. They rounded up to tenths of an hour, so it was like I'd be like $15 to take a phone call, you know, and I was just like, seriously? The whole thing, it's just rotten. It's just all these things, and it actually started in the 30s. And people are like, well, I've had the same system since 1910. Yeah, we've had the same horrible system for 100 years, which is driving right off the edge of a cliff. And that's the perverted logic. That's the reasoning that, well, we've done it for 100 years. Right. Yeah. According to that argument, the Magna Carta should have never been written. We should be like feudal serfs, because that's how it's been done for 500 years. So jaggy. I hate that. Well, I'm going to talk more about that in another thing. Yeah, that's really the big three. If you're starting a business, go to a CPA, go to an insurance guy. Don't necessarily got to go to a lawyer. You can, like, because you'll need forms for the sunflower thing. I would have maybe a waiver. Like if you had someone on your route, you know, more than once, you'd say, you know, I need you to sign this waiver. You know, like, and what happens if one of your people hurts themselves on somebody's property? You know, that would be a good thing for the insurance guy, trying to figure out the thing. But lawyers are very good about that initial consultation. So go in prepared and kind of juice it for all you can get. And it's good for them because they're doing loss leader too. They're trying to get new clients, and who knows, maybe your thing will be gangbusters later on. All right, well, guys, I hope you have gotten some inspiration. And remember, don't be afraid. Go forth and conquer.